Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us here today. After a competitive national search, multiple listening sessions, a public survey, and a successful town hall, I am proud to announce that St. Louis has selected Chief Robert Tracy as our next Chief of Police. Chief Tracy has a proven record of reducing violent crime. He's done so in multiple cities, and I believe that he can do it here. As he'll let you know shortly, this reduction in violent crime was a team effort, building trust with the community to improve public safety. My office has heard from Wilmington leaders and leaders across the country from backgrounds of faith and those who have been colleagues of Chief Tracy before. Across the board, they uplift his strength of character, his compassionate leadership, and effective planning. Something that stuck out to me as I read through their letters was how Chief Tracy is dedicated to building community trust. A man of faith, it's not surprising to see him show up on Sunday at a church that isn't his own. He's dedicated to being a visible, accessible chief to the communities that he and his officers serve. As Chief Tracy and I talked, it struck me how detail-oriented he is when it comes to policing and public safety. He stressed the need for a comprehensive, data-driven approach to improve public safety and create accountability for him and the entire police department. And he'll be a partner who recognizes that a comprehensive plan must include innovative strategies to reduce the burden on our officers, like our community violence intervention programs and cops and clinicians programs. He's ready to work with departments across our city, including the newly created Office of Violence Prevention, to leverage every tool at our disposal to make our neighborhoods safer. He's someone who knows what it's like to come into a department, to bring folks together to achieve change and success. He's someone who welcomes feedback and implements change to address it. He'll also be our first chief from outside of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. And let me tell you, as we've talked, it's clear how prepared and excited Chief Tracy is as a new resident of our city. We all know that St. Louis can be a bit unique when it comes to new people, but St. Louis is the best city in the country. And yes, I'm biased on that. But we can and we should learn from our peers, taking what works other places and bringing that experience here. I know Chief Tracy will bring the lessons he's learned from his service in Wilmington to our city. And those new perspectives will make us a safer and stronger city in the long run. Chief Tracy didn't go to high school here, and I doubt that he's tried taster ravioli or emos yet, but maybe he will as he meets with folks over the next few days. But I believe that he is the right leader for the St. Louis Police Department and a strong partner in our work to reimagine public safety. I want to thank all of the candidates that participated in the process. In particular, I want to thank Interim Chief Michael Sack, who stepped up to lead our department following Chief Hayden's retirement. He helped guide St. Louis through one of the most deeply painful times in our city's history, the senseless violence at CVPA and Collegiate on October 24th. I will forever be grateful for his work and the work of our department during that time. To our residents, business leaders and elected leaders, community stakeholders and visitors to our city, know that St. Louis will continue to work each and every day to make all of our 79 neighborhoods safer for our families, from Dogtown to downtown, from Baden to Boulevard Heights. To our officers and their fellow first responders, know that we value your work and believe that with Chief Tracy, you have an advocate for you who will help the department grow stronger and become more innovative. He knows how to keep the public safe, and the department must have a strong moral and shared vision. You are at the very center of that, and he is committed to earning your respect. I ask that you give Chief Tracy the trust, the confidence, and partnership he needs to reduce the violence in our streets, because he has mine. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Dr. Dan Isom, Interim Public Safety Director.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. I'm honored to join Mayor Jones and pleased to announce Robert J. Tracy will assume the vital role of Chief of Police on January 9th, 2023. The Department of Personnel received more than 40 applications in a competitive national search for this position. Per our civil service rules, the department weighed the candidates against qualifications outlined in the job posting and passed along the names to the Department of Public Safety. Then we met with the candidates, gave them a tour of the city, and had a town hall and reviewed the feedback from that town hall. Then the mayor and I discussed our options, and we chose Chief Tracy. This is the right decision for St. Louis. As the former chief of police, I know the qualities of a strong, strategic, and committed servant leader is the right fit for our community. Chief Tracy has experience reducing violent crime while building community trust across neighborhoods, racial lines, and zip codes. In the next coming months, Chief Tracy will communicate his vision for the department. I have the confidence that Chief Tracy will lead the department with integrity while upholding the values and principles of our police department and our city. He has received several community support letters from various religious and interfaith leaders and minority organizations from Delaware in support of his selection as Chief of Police. Chief Tracy will meet with command staff and other community stakeholders as he prepares for this new role. Personally, I also want to thank Interim Chief Michael Sack for his dedication and hard work while he served the department after the retirement of Chief Hayden. I also want to thank all the officers of the St. Louis Police Department and the staff for the hard work that they do every day. I also appreciate the hard work of the Personnel Department in running this competitive national search. And now I have the honor to bring up Chief Tracy.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I would like to thank Mayor Jones and Director Isom for the opportunity to lead the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. I sincerely appreciate the confidence they have in me, and I look forward to getting to work. When I interviewed for this position, I was impressed with the mayor's leadership and vision for St. Louis, and I'm excited about the opportunities ahead. Although I'm not from St. Louis, I've had the opportunity to tour the city, and I've done some research. And I know that in some short time, this city will feel like a home to me. I was born in New York City, the Bronx, and I spent more than half of my life in law enforcement. I've been married to my wife, Brenda, who's here with me today, for 26 years, and we have 5 wonderful children, 2 of them being here, my son, Bobby, and my daughter, Samantha, and Samantha's fiancé, Fabio. She's from Chicago, he's from Cincinnati, so they come from different areas. They drove in for this, and my younger ones are at home, probably watching this event live. That would be, I can't forget their names, that would be John, that would be Joseph, and that would be Brendan, all right? Hello, guys. Behave yourself. My wife and my family know that in my heart, I am, and I always will be, a proud police officer. Police work is a noble profession. It's my calling. It's what I love to do, and I am honored that I've been asked to lead this department. Without my wife's support today, this would not be possible. Thank you, Brenda. I would like to tell you a little bit about my journey in law enforcement. In 1984, I started my police career in the NYPD, and I rose through the ranks to the position of captain. I led many tactical, strategic, prestigious units throughout my 23-year career in the New York City Police Department. I worked for and with many great men and women, and I've learned a lot on how working together with the community, so much can be accomplished. I plan to do that here in St. Louis. I retired from the NYPD and worked in the private sector for a few years. But I missed police work, and when I had an opportunity to return to policing in Chicago, I did not hesitate. During my 5 years in Chicago, we made great strides in crime reduction. From 2011 to 2015, Chicago experienced the lowest homicide rate in 50 years and the lowest overall crime rate since 1972. I then had the honor of serving the city of Wilmington from 2017 to today, and I will be stepping down shortly as soon as I take my position in the St. Louis. When I started my work in Wilmington, it was dubbed Murder Town, USA by Newsweek. Murder Town, USA by Newsweek. However, by January of 2019, the headlines read, "From Murder Town to Turnaround Town," because Wilmington finished 2018 with a 56% reduction in shootings and 41% decrease in homicides. And as of today, overall crime is down by 27% from when I started in 2017. And most violent crimes, including murder, is down 50%, rape down 83%, and robberies are down 54%. This was not an easy task. Crime is not something that just goes away. However, I know that building trust in the community, supporting police officers, working with elected officials, faith-based leaders, business leaders, we can make a difference together. I am very proud of the work we accomplished in New York, Wilmington, and Chicago, and I know we will be equally proud to serve the city of St. Louis. To the people who live in St. Louis, live and work in St. Louis, I want to tell each of you that I will work tirelessly to bring safety to your neighborhoods. I will work to give you a police department that is responsive to your needs, a police force that's accountable and accessible. But I need your help too. Safer communities don't just happen. It's a mutual obligation we all have, and it can only happen if we work together. Fortunately, we have a newly created Office of Violence Prevention led by Will Pickney, which is tasked with coordinating public safety resources and community intervention programs, and will be a strong partner with the police department in creating safer neighborhoods. Throughout the next few weeks, I will visit each neighborhood to get to know each and every person who wants to be part of this work. I look forward to getting to know the citizens of this great city, and I know together we will do great things. To the police officers of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, I look forward to getting to know each of you. I will work to ensure you have the best training, equipment, and supervision you need to do to get your job done. I believe in you and the work that you do, and I will foster an environment that is supportive, inclusive, and meaningful. I know police work is not easy, and sometimes it could be a thankless job. But you became a police officer because you wanted to make a difference. So together, we will make a difference, and I'm excited about getting started. To the federal, state, and local law enforcement and criminal justice partners, I have enjoyed great collaboration, relationships, and successes in New York, Chicago, and Wilmington, and I look forward to having those same relationships here in St. Louis. To the elected officials, I would like to say that my door will always be open, and I am confident that yours will always be open for me. I will work with each of you to ensure that St. Louis is a safe, vibrant city to live and work in. I have great confidence in this city and its citizens, in the police officers, and in you, the elected officials, and I know that together we can make a difference. And finally, I'd like to address the business community. These last couple of years have been challenging for businesses everywhere. I fully understand that a city needs a thriving, growing business community that in turn supports everything government does for its citizens. And I will work collaboratively with you to support your needs to ensure that you, your employees, your customers are protected and able to serve the needs of our community. And again, thank you, Mayor Jones. Thank you, Dr. Eisen, for your confidence and trust. I will not let you down, and I will not let down the citizens of St. Louis. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. So we have some time for some questions. Can you please address your question to the person you would like to answer it?
I have a question for Chief.
That was going to happen. Go ahead.
Hi, Brian Reed of St. Louis Public Radio. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian.
Earlier this year, the Wilmington City Council took a symbolic vote of no confidence that focused on a lack of transparency and diversity in the department. Transparency and diversity are issues that we see here in St. Louis as well. What reassurance do you have to the residents and to the people of the department that that will be something that you will be able to tackle?
Great. First of all, my core values is about transparency. You'll see that as I go along. I'm all about values of diversity within the department, and you'll see by some of the numbers that are posted out there. These things all came out at a time. I have a very diverse command staff, and I've made promotions where I can, and it actually is more representative than the demographics of the city. Our last couple of academy classes were over 80% of persons of color, which is incredible during this time to get a full academy class and be able to do that. So I listened to what our elected officials have to say. That was very short-lived. We actually sat down and talked about these things to make sure that we were doing the things that our community expected. The community, in return, also supported what we were doing as far as getting the diversity, the transparency, and the things that we were doing. So that was an issue that was about 11 months ago. Has not been an issue since then, and it really is being resurrected only because I've taken this position. And of course, that would be coming out, and you would need to ask that question of your new police chief here in St. Louis.
Chief, what do you want to do to lower violent crime here? Kevin Feline came Wex. You mentioned you lowered it in Chicago and Wilmington. What's your template that we might see applied here on the streets?
Well, there's really good plans out there. There's plans that we've done in the past. Certainly, those are the things that I'm going to look at, what we're doing here already, what we need to possibly change. And I really have to sit down with my leaders of the police department, leaders of the union representatives, and even the police officers themselves to see exactly what the needs are, put that in an overall plan. So I promise you there will be a transparent plan that will be out there. But I have to get out and look under the hood to make sure that I see what's going on, and I know the issues that are here.
Well, can you tell us a quick follow-up? How did you do it in Chicago and Wilmington that we might see patterned here?
Well, it first starts building community trust and also building the trust of your police officers, building the morale, making sure that there's procedural justice, police legitimacy internally within a police department. And they have to know what the plan is. First, you have to be able to educate people on what you're looking to do. You got to implement it properly. You got to execute it, and then you have to have a relentless follow-up. And there has to be respect within an organization, up and down the line. When that happens, that expands to external success, because that'll go out into the community. When we start to build trust at all the community meetings, we're going to be at every community meeting, and we might be doing that now, but I will take a look to make sure that it's being done. We can have the best plans in place, but these strategies that I talk about and you can read about and what I've done, these plans, they will have short-term success. If you don't do it with the community and you're not transparent, you're telling them why you're doing it and what you're doing for, and most of this violent crime that's happening not only in St. Louis, it's happened in other areas. It's a very small percentage of persons committing most of the violent crime. So we don't have dangerous communities. We have a small percentage of dangerous people in those communities. So what can we do? You look at Office of Violence Prevention. We can do things and work with those individuals to get them out of the life of crime. We can also bring group violence intervention in to try to stop them or actually give them options to get out of this violence. And for the ones that don't want to do that, then you know what? If they're going to cause harm to the community, we're going to have to arrest them. But it's going to be a smaller percentage of arresting people and not arresting everyone to get those few. When you start to do that, you build trust in the community, and therefore the community starts to come together and helping you with crime. Helps you with clearance rates, helps you with trust. So it's very difficult and a very short answer I have to give you. It's a very comprehensive plan. But knowing my officers and making sure they know it, being transparent to the public, and then going out and telling them, as I go around the neighborhoods, I'm going to be telling the community what our crime plan is, as I get a better look at what we're already doing, building off of it, and then making sure that we're executing in the right way. And if we're not, then let's try something different. Let's see exactly what I've done in other places that will work here. But to give you an overall plan, give me a chance to sit down, and we're not going to wait for a while. Once I get out there starting January 9th, okay, hit the ground running. I got a couple of things that I have to finish up in my past city, being a good partner with a mayor and a community that has so much support for what we've done. I want to make sure we leave it in the right way. They've allowed me to start January 9th, and I can't wait to hit the ground running and do some of the things. And I'll be able to get into more detail as I get a chance to look at what we're already doing here.
Chief Tracy, Christine Byers, Channel 5. There is a very high-tension relationship between the police department here and the circuit attorney's office, who is the prosecutor. How do you plan to address that relationship and that tension and try to repair this relationship? I mean, she's got over 50 officers on an exclusion list, and she won't say why.
Right. Well, sometimes you think, and as an outsider comes in, that could be a hard thing. I actually think, because I've done this 2 other times, it's a great thing, because I don't have relationships, so we can start, at a neutral area. Whatever happened in the past, I'm not attached to that. Whatever the relationship has in the past. So that allowed a person that there might be some conflict, I don't know, but I will sit down with our partners and see exactly what the reasons are. Can we talk about them? What are the reasons? And make sure that we're good partners and we're working together to reduce crime. Because that's really what it's about. But coming in with a clean slate, I really don't know anyone. And I think that could be a good thing.
Chief Danny Banker with Fox 2 News. Are you aware of there's a perceived, congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. Come back.
There is a perceived shortage, and maybe beyond perceived, shortage of police officers. Do you plan to add to the number of police officers? You mentioned morale. When we talk to officers, the biggest hit to their morale is that they don't have enough people to respond to all the calls. And not just homicides, but quality of life. We have roaming bands of criminals on a nightly basis, checking car doors, breaking into cars, stealing things, looking for guns, stealing cars. There's been tens of thousands of cars stolen in recent months in the city of St. Louis alone. What's your plan to attack that, and do we need more officers?
Well, you just hit something on morale. The best advertisers of bringing police officers in is the organization itself. And that's in every city and every jurisdiction. So if the morale is somewhat low, we got to take a look at that and see why. They have to believe in their police chief that what I say and what we're going to do and how we're going to improve things, they'll come around. There's other things that you have to give them direction. Police officers, when you say we're not handling all the jobs, we've got too little police officers. I've dealt with those issues. Let's look exactly on what we can do to look at how we're doing things. And if we do have less officers, do I want more? Yes, I'd like to come up to budgeted strength. What police chief wouldn't want that? So we'll come up to budgeted strength. But every police department in the nation is suffering from it. But I believe the things in the morale we put in place and the diversity in Wilmington, I wasn't having those issues, and our officers weren't leaving. We were getting more officers coming when my surrounding county and my state were actually asking officers to do lateral transfers, and they would give them $10,000, $20,000 signing bonuses and a take-home car, which we couldn't do in the city of Wilmington, right? None of my officers left. Because if you set up an organization where they're proud in what they're doing and they believe in the mission and the community trust is there, it starts to be a groundswell of building up morale, which helps in the long run recruiting more police officers. And then I think I can put some things in place. If we're down officers, I'll look at exactly where the things that we can move some things around. We can look at calls for service. We can look at the amount of calls for service we're doing. Are we going to unnecessary calls? Are we going to things where right now we can use our officers and to go to more community meetings, do more proactive police work with the community, and make sure that we can reduce some of the things that you just talked about. And you hit me with an array of things. I will be looking at those things that you just talked about, sir.
All right, few more minutes.
Chief Mark Maxwell.
This gentleman was, and then I'll come right to you.
On transparency, you're coming to a city where a lot of activists, a lot of voters have called for civilian oversight of the police department. Transparency can be uncomfortable, but what is your attitude toward civilian oversight specifically, and will you be an ally to those people who feel the police department could have more oversight from the people who live here?
Well, I've come from departments with oversight. You have to work with them. If you want to build a community trust, the working relationship. The one reporter talked about some things that might have been in conflict or not having a great relationship. I come in from the outside. If there's an oversight, they're here. They have a job to do, and we're going to make sure it's done fairly, and we're going to cooperate with any oversight that there is, because that's transparency. You got to make sure that the people trust us and they trust the system that's in place. What I am is a fair man. I will make sure investigations are done fairly, and I will cooperate and my officers with any oversight that's needed to make sure we can build trust.
And just quickly, can you elaborate on what you expect from a prosecutor What are you looking for in kindergarten?
Well, when I sit down with Kim Gardner, she's going to give me her expectations, and I can tell her what my ideas, what we have. I'm not privy to what has gone on that the reporters are talking about right now, but I certainly will address them. I'm going to meet with my command staff today. I'm going to meet with officers. I'm going to be meeting with the unions, and I'm going to get some feedback to see exactly what their concerns are, because I really want to hear it from them and the issues and the challenges that we may have or may not have with our prosecutor's office. And then I would love to sit down and say, hey, can we talk this out and come to an understanding? I don't know what they are yet. It wouldn't be fair for me to really give you an answer on that, but I will promise you that I'm going in with an open mind of why we're doing things and what things could we resolve them and have a relationship that's best for the people, because a better working relationship with all entities is best for our community and public safety.
All right, about one more.
Chief Tracy.
I think that
Dana
this
Reed,
gentleman,
Dispatch.
this gentleman was here.
How do you plan on
I did this in
building
the
a
other cities,
relationship-
so I'm trying to make sure everybody gets answered. And I'm going to get yelled at back here, all right? Go ahead, sir.
How do you plan on building a relationship with the black community? People believe in defund the police, so they don't like, maybe seeing a white chief. We see crime in places like North City and black communities. How can you address the defund the police movement, and how can you be more transparent when it comes to releasing like body cam footage so people can see the tape for themselves and don't have to go back and forth and make up things?
All right. First of all, if there's things that will probably be put out, I was told, there's a lot of letters that are coming in from the faith-based community, African-American community. Sorry they're losing me because of the relationship we built and the police department built with them. And they'll say they've never had that before until the outside chief, I was the first outside chief in a 250-year history, a little over 200-year history in Wilmington, Delaware. So I'm kind of going through the same thing. How can this person connect with the communities? Because it's about sincerity of the heart and your actions that you do. And it's about trust builds by having face-to-face conversations, and not just lip service. You got to make sure that you follow through what you're doing. And if you read some of the letters that came out, I was humbled, and actually very, very humbled. I knew I created a good relationship with the community and community of color, but it was overwhelming to get those letters in support of me being a candidate. No one knows until this time, but as a candidate, they basically were writing letters to our mayor saying, you need to hire this guy because he understands it. So I'll let you read that, and you can make your calls out there. It's coming from me. I'm talking about third person calling in support of this police chief. As far as when it comes to transparency and some of the things that we will probably can have controversial incidents, I'm going to have to work with, have to take a look at, I've seen incidents that have happened out here. I did do my reading, how we have a process in place and how we handle it. I'm going to have to take a good look at those things with Dr. Isom. I want to make sure we got a use of force unit. We got to make sure how we put those things in, and then it comes back to working with the prosecuting attorney where they stand on it, because you have to work with the partners. If there's going to be an incident, you just talk about reviewing video. Let me give a chance. There's different policies in different places and state laws that are in place. I'm coming into a new state. I have to review all of that, but I promise you we will be fair and we'll be as transparent as possible working with our partners. And I will tell that to people. And I did make phone calls whenever we had incidents. That group that I had to build trust in, that didn't trust the police historically for the right reasons, we didn't do the right thing for a lot of years. When we had civil unrest after the George Floyd murder, the first time in my city, it got pretty bad. There was a lot of outside influence. We were able to take that city back, but never allowed it to happen again. We didn't turn out, and I don't want to mention the other cities, it's not fair, but the city is still suffering through that. When they came with 3,000 protesters, we spoke with them. We spoke with advocates that were defund the police advocates, but you got to have that conversation, and that's what we did. The faith-based leaders and the areas we thought was most vulnerable, they stood arm in arm, and as I deployed my officers throughout the city, and I brought the state police and the county police in, and we coordinated, but we took the critical areas because we know the community, and it should be served by us. The faith-based leaders all came out that day, and I assigned them. They all came out, and they stood on those critical posts where we thought we'd have the biggest issues. And that, to me, I did an interview last Thursday on a cable show, and that was one of the highest moments of showing we've built trust and we work together and make sure that our community is not going to be harmed for ones that are not doing the right thing. And we all came together, and that's defund the police, That's our faith-based leaders. That's the whole community came together. And my officers, why I believe the morale is so good in Wilmington is because our officers have been told all during these protests and civil unrest, and they were told, our community kept saying, we need you, we care about you, and all they really want, continue doing what you're doing, and do respectful, fair, constitutional policing, and treat the community with respect. It comes back 10, 20-fold, and our officers saw that. So they don't feel that our community, in my city, is almost 65% African American. So it's a majority-minority city. And we're able to gain that trust, police and community, and come together. It's not perfect. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you, because we got to work on it every day, and then one incident's controversial. We can lose that, and we have to build it up. We have to work on that every single day. And I know, and I'm going to get cut off, but I know you had one more question. You had a question.
Sure, Dana Reed from Police
Sure.
Dispatch, welcome. We've covered a lot of ground, so I think the last question should be, why St. Louis?
Why St. Louis? I think of divine intervention. I think of a time and an opportunity for a city that I did my reading. I saw how much hope. I saw a lot of the articles. And there's a lot of places that I could have applied to. And this is the only place I did. And the reason being, I wanted to be a good steward of the profession I'm in and a good mayor that I worked for. And we accomplished a lot in the city of Wilmington. I wanted to make sure we got out of the pandemic. I wanted to make sure we got out of the civil unrest. And finish where we are almost 6 years with a 50% reduction in murders, shootings, 27% reduction in crime, almost a 60% homicide clearance rate, which is higher than the national average. And these are the things, and my officers were left in a good place, and I said this at the town hall. Hand the keys over, not under duress where you're losing the chief, where there's a controversial shooting, they're fired. Hand the keys over when things are going good so the next person can take the keys, run it, and keep that city safe with cooperation with that mayor. And then I saw the same opportunity here, spoke with my wife Brenda, and said, let's go to this city. They get bad reputations. Wilmington had a bad reputation, or some people get a bad reputation. I didn't think that about this city, and I'm very excited and very humbled that the mayor would take a chance on me, and so Dr. Isom. I can't wait to get started, and I'm so happy to be here, starting a new place, and hoping to replicate what we did in other places.
How long are you
All right,
going how long are you
gotta
going
go.
to
The meetings with the other elected officials start now. Thanks, everyone.
How long are you going to be here for? Do you have a duration?
I would hope to be here for a while. Yet I hope to be here as long as the mayor and Dr. Isom want me here, and the community.
Do you have a
All
contract?
right, thanks all. Thanks all.